The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for a particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature and not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.
For millions of Americans who retire every year, the task of ensuring that your money is working hard enough to provide you with a consistent paycheck can make the job of working for that paycheck seem easy. Retirement doesn't signal the end of financial worry. In fact, for the majority of retirees, it's just the beginning. The assets you have built must be able to provide you and your family with financial security for all the years to come. That's why you need a game plan for retirement, making sure you have a plan and that your money is working hard to provide you with an income you can depend on. This is your game plan for retirement.
And welcome in. This is your Game Plan for Retirement, where we challenge Wall Street to try to remove doubt and worry from retirement and provide strategies to replace those with peace of mind and confidence for your financial future. And we discuss the needs and concerns of a new generation of retiree and the challenges we face in our new economy with your local income allocation and retirement advisors from ASC Financial Group for a retirement built to last. Josiah Grauso once again joins us on the program. Josiah, welcome back.
Hey, great to be here and great to be part of the show again.
Always a pleasure having you on the program, sir, and we've talked about a number of topics that I think are important to building for a more secure financial future. As we begin the show, I always like to point out that you do make your time available as a resource to the folks across Allentown and the Poconos for a complimentary financial review and evaluation, or just to bounce a couple financial questions and concerns off of. Josiah Grauso is your local resource, ladies and gentlemen, and if you would like to be in touch, all you have to do is pick up your phone and give them a call at ASC Financial Group. You can reach them at 800-939-8633. Again, that number to reach ASC Financial Group for a retirement built to last, and your local retirement advisor, Josiah Grauso, 800-939-8633. Josiah, we've talked about a number of topics that are of vital importance, but I think that as we have talked off the air, there are still a lot of questions that when people are speaking with their current financial planner or advisor, or even have been in a relationship for an extended period of time, they might not understand about either the advice that they're receiving or the workings of that relationship. And some of these questions go unasked and therefore unanswered. And you think that it's pretty important that people have some basic understanding of some very important questions that may not otherwise be addressed. Can you talk to us about a few of those topics?
Every time we do any one of our community workshops or seminars or college classes that we teach in order to kind of spread some of this information throughout our community, some of the ways we almost always will close our workshops is by saying, there should be three really main questions that you should be asking your advisor if you're currently working with somebody or if you're thinking of working with somebody. And what we feel is the three most important is, number one, how long have you been doing this? How long have you been in your career? And I think it's kind of important to make sure that people are able to understand that the markets are cyclical, that they go through different cycles, and that they've experienced good times and bad times and middle times, and understand that it's always not going to be a perfect ride, and sometimes it can be a little bit of a roller coaster, but making sure that we protect some of the major market drop downs or losses that you're experiencing. And unfortunately, sometimes I'll sit down with some clients and their advisors are relatively new. In the last couple of years, the market's been pretty good, and they feel like, we're in a great heading and we're in a great position, a great place going forward. And we kind of have short-term memories and we forget some of the devastating effects that happened in 2008 or 2009 or all the way back into 2000, 2001, 2002. And so it's really important to understand and making sure your advisor is experienced in knowing that they can overcome any type of obstacle that may come out there, and they're looking for that ahead of time. And that's why we feel experience is very important. However, it's not the only thing. Obviously, we know Bernie Madoff has been doing this for a long, long time before he got arrested and was in violation of SEC fraud. And we all know the story there. So it's important. It's not everything, but we should be taking a look at how that's important. The second question we should ask is, well, what do you charge? What are your fees? Fees are extremely important. Why is that? Because fees are going to minimize your gains and are going to compound your losses. Now, with that being said, unfortunately, I'm a great guy. We don't do everything for free. There has to be some kind of fair compensation, but understanding what that compensation is and how it really works towards your plan and what the ultimate goal is what makes the big amount of difference. And so understanding the current plans that you have or proposed plans for you and how the fees are either impacting your type of a retirement plan that you have, I feel is vitally important.
And Josiah, let me stop you there for a moment.
Sure.
I know that at ASC Financial Group, you actually have the option of a number of different ways that your firm and your advisors can be compensated. This is not necessarily a one-size-fits-all in that there is any best or worst solution to how an advisor charges their fees or is compensated. There can be benefits and disadvantages to any number of different compensation models.
Let's talk about these different compensation models. I mean, I know some advisors don't like to talk about it, but we at ASC Financial Group, we are very crystal clear, and I feel like we want to make sure we have as much transparency as possible. And so let's talk about how an advisor, and let's talk about us particularly, that we can get paid. Now, we carry several different hats. We're registered investment advisor representatives. We hold Series 65 securities license. Anything we're doing on our security ends with stocks, bonds, mutual funds, managed accounts, or brokerage accounts, there's a management fee that's charged. One of the things I like about a management fee that's being charged is that we have a vested interest in our clients. What that means is the more money you make, the more money we make. If we lose money, our income, our fee drops down because it's based on your account value. So that's why it's important understanding that, there is a segregated or an increased option that comes through as a managed account fee. Now, we're also insurance agents. We carry an insurance license, and majority of times with insurance, as advisors, we get paid a commission. One of the things I like about a commission is it doesn't come out of our clients' monies. So whether in forms of a life insurance or long-term care or possibly annuities or something else down the road, is if you're getting paid a commission, typically it's coming from the insurance company that's offering or providing that type of protection. Again, I like that because it doesn't come out of our clients' money. It comes directly out of the insurance or that company's fee, and sort of like a finder's fee in recommending that type of account with that insurance company. Now, some of the downsides you got to be careful for is somebody making that offer because they're getting paid the highest amount. And that's where I would kind of tie you into the third thing that I believe you should be expecting from your advisor and the questions you should be asking your advisor. And that follows the very last question we have in mind, which is, who do you work for, me or the company? See, not every advisor is built the same. A lot of advisors out there is held to what's called a suitability standard. What that means is as long as it's suitable for you, it matches your risk tolerance, your time horizon, it may be okay. Other advisors, like myself and those at ASC Financial Group, are held to a fiduciary standard. That means by law, we must do what is in best interest of our clients. We can't bring ourselves or our company first. And so for those of our listeners out there that are working with an advisor, I encourage you to ask that question of those advisors. And if they're not fiduciaries, then why aren't they? I feel it's very, very important. And that's something that we at ASC Financial Group, we can help with. We can sit down with you if you want to take advantage of our one-on-one consultation meeting. We can review your current plans. We can see how it works. We can understand what the fees that are being charged for your plans. And maybe if your financial advisor is a fiduciary or not, and we can maybe take a look at some proactive steps on how to solve some of these concerns if you don't think that they're matching up with the way you want your plan to be. So again, for those out there who are listening, I encourage you, give us a call at 800-939-8633. Again, that number is 800-939-8633. Set up an appointment, and we would be glad to sit down and review any of your type of financial plans that you currently have.
Well, I know that there are some initiatives and laws that have been proposed and may even take effect due to changes in political environment. I'm not certain where exactly those stand, but the intention of the laws were to make it so that at least a vast majority of the financial advice people were receiving could be held to that fiduciary standard. However, there are going to be many financial advisors into the next year, and I believe into the distant future, that try to exempt themselves from that that requirement. You guys have been fiduciary advisors for quite some time. This isn't something new that you are doing just because of that law. It's something that you have been doing and have maintained that for quite some time into your past. Therefore, I think that it would be in somebody's interest to find out exactly what that difference can make and make sure that their own advisor is going to adhere to those same standards.
Ralph, myself, the team here at ASC Financial Group, I do believe we've been kind of on the cutting edge of some of these type of movements that are coming down from potential laws being changed and those type of things in our field. And we have absolutely no qualms about it or concerns about it because we felt like this was something that was right to do numbers and years ago that we've done. And so we've made sure that our staff and that we are properly prepared that way. And unfortunately, when I talk to a couple of different colleagues around the country, there are some out there that are very, very concerned about this because it can change their practice and change it devastatingly so. But again, for us, we feel like we felt this was important to do ahead of time. And we don't feel like it should have been something that was dictated to us by some kind of a government oversight or regulation, but that we owed it to our clients to make sure we're being upheld to that standard and to that type of ability. And that's why we continually go out, we do trainings, we get continuing educations, because we want to be the best advisor to our clients that we particularly can, because when it all comes said and done, this is their money. We want to make sure that their plans are built and that their retirement is built to last, and it's going to be able to overcome any of the type of obstacles that we have coming down the pipe, whichever they may be, whether it be market risk or increased inflation, increased taxes, longevity planning, sequence risk, whatever those concerns are, we want to make sure that your plans are addressing those concerns.
Ladies and gentlemen, if that's what you expect in your relationship with an advisor or from the advice that you are receiving, again, pick up the phone and give a call to ASC Financial Group for a retirement built to last. 800-939-8633. 800-939-8633. Once those questions are asked, Josiah, and somebody feels that they have been answered to their satisfaction, what then do you believe a consumer or a client has the right to expect from the relationship with their financial planner or advisor? What should their expectations justifiably and rightfully be?
First of all, I believe that your expectations of your advisor would be to treat you or me as the client the same way you would maybe treat your parent or your mother, your family, your brother, whoever that is, that we're getting the same care, attention, and advice the same way you would do to somebody who is of the utmost importance to you. I think that is very important and very paramount. And if you don't believe as an advisor what you're doing, or you wouldn't do that for your parent, then you absolutely shouldn't be doing it for your client. And I firmly and strongly believe in that. The second thing I think is really, really important is, well, what happens if we feel like an advisor is just not doing the right thing for them and they want to move and you want to go from one advisor to another? Honestly, it should not be a difficult, complicated process of where the advisor's not returning your phone calls and making you sign waivers and forms and trying to do as hard as they can to try to hold on to you as a client. Because here's the thing. This is your money. It is very, very important that you retain control of it. And I will tell you, a lot of times I'll sit down with somebody and we'll go over a plan on these one-on-one consultations and reviews, and there's big gaps in their plans and big areas that their advisor never talked to them about. And when I ask if they're willing to make a change and that we could solve some of these problems, but it might be, meaning leaving XYZ advisor, they get very concerned. I don't think he's going to like that. You have to understand, Josiah, I've been with this person for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, whatever the case is. And they're kind of in a sense of fear that they're not too sure what to do. And they know they like the plan. They know they need to make the move. They know they need to do something, but they're concerned about that termination or moving from that advisor. And here's one thing I always tell people is, listen, your current advisor, he might be a good person, but he just may not be asking the right questions. He may not be designed and specifically trained for this area of retirement or nearing retirement. Those are only the people that we sit down with at ASC Financial Group, is somebody who's within around 5 or 10 years of retirement or who already is retired, because we feel like that part of your life has a totally different planning than while you're building up accumulation, getting ready for retirement during your 20s and your 30s and your 40s. So it's very important. And what I always say to people is, if you're working with a person and you feel like they don't have your best interest in mind or they're not doing the right thing for you, whether they may be a friend or a longtime consultant of yours, somebody needs to be the advisor. And if this person is truly a friend, he'll understand or she'll understand that if we make a move, it's not a negative thing. It's not that, I'm mad at you or anything like that, but this is the best thing for me. Because ultimately, again, you have to take control of your retirement. Nobody else is going to do it for you. You've got to take a look at where your concerns are. And if your needs are not being met, then you need to go to some place who will fulfill those needs.
Josiah Grauso, who's here with us today. The whole team can help you answer and address these important questions for the retirement phase of your financial life to make sure that you are making sound and well thought through decisions today and into the future to achieve the financial goals that are important to you. And they offer this as a valuable resource to the listeners on a complimentary, no obligation basis. All you have to do is pick up the phone and give a call to 800-939-8633. Again, that's 800-939-8633, and the team will walk you through a comprehensive financial and retirement review and evaluation that will answer or help address many of the important questions and concerns for today's retirees. And again, that number, 800-939-8633, an excellent opportunity for you to place that call now as we have to take a quick break, but we'll be back with more with Josiah Grauso in just a moment here on Your Game Plan for Retirement.
With the turn of a calendar page, new goals are set and priorities are evaluated and renewed. What are you going to do to be the best you can be throughout the coming year? More importantly, what are you going to do to make next year and every year after the best they can be for you? There are many things that we can resolve to improve upon. Our diet, our exercise, our habits, our treatment of others. Not surprisingly, financial resolutions rank near the top of the list of common New Year's commitments. Let's face it, no matter how well we are doing financially, we can all probably improve in some area. But it is hard to make major changes and stick to them for an extended period. And failing to make significant strides towards a goal may set us back more than it improves our mental state. In order to help you accomplish your goals, try to focus on small, realistic commitments you can stick to. A journey of great distance is accomplished by starting with small steps. Remember to be smart setting your goals for next year. SMART is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Specific, set a very specific goal. Measurable, be able to measure your progress. Attainable, skip unrealistic goals to avoid letting yourself down. Relevant, goals need to be relevant or they will never get done. Timely, set goals that you can finish, then focus on setting your sights higher. SMART goals will help you achieve success. So remember, be smart and set goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. We sincerely hope this year has been good to you and your loved ones, and that every year in the future only gets better.
For a financial review of 2016 and a look forward to strategies to improve for 2017 and beyond, call your local income allocation and retirement advisors at ASC Financial Group for a retirement built to last. 800-939-8633. That's 800-939-8633. And welcome back into Your Game Plan for Retirement, because, ladies and gentlemen, a new generation of retirees in this new economy has a new set of challenges that they are facing and needs a new approach on how to face those challenges and achieve financial security for their retirement. And that's what the team from ASC Financial Group is here to provide, a retirement built to last. We are joined by Josiah Grauso, and if you have questions about your game plan for retirement, pick up the phone and give a call, 800-939-8633. That's 800-939-8633. Josiah, we have talked about the value of 401ks and previous programs, but we've also talked about the fact that there are many different aspects of the 401k that you don't feel that everyone has a full grasp of knowledge over. Can you talk to us about the importance of 401ks, where they do play a valuable role, and what maybe some of the issues are that you think need clarity or more understanding?
Folks, we know out there that these defined benefit plans, things like pensions and those type of things are shrinking, just smaller and smaller. Not as many companies are offering them. They've all been switching more to these defined contribution plans, these 401ks, 403bs, 457s. And we just want to do a brief overview in understanding some of the important questions and decisions you should be taking a look about your 401k. And here are some of the great things about a 401k is that they're a tax-deferred vehicle, meaning when you contribute into your 401k, if it was $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, The great thing about that is you can do that right off of your payroll contribution. Typically, it comes out of your paycheck before you even see the money, which I know for me, if I see that money in my bank account, I'm going to spend it. So if I don't see it ahead of time, it comes right off of that paycheck. That's a great thing for me.
Yep.
And as long as it's tax deferred, meaning I don't pay tax on that money. If I make $50,000 a year and I contributed $5,000 to my 401k, I'm only getting taxed on $45,000. And that's a great thing. However, the IRS isn't just going to say you keep this money, you don't have to pay it again. You have to start taking it out eventually. Now, they give you a rule of you can't typically touch it except for very small issues or small times before the age 59 and a half. And then after age 70 and a half, you're required to start drawing it down. Now, what does that mean? Well, the goal is as they start to take that money out, you're going to be taxed on that money as if it was ordinary income. Okay? So if you're in a lower tax bracket than where you were when you were paying in, that might be a great thing. However, keep in mind, even though we're making lower income typically in retirement, we could be in the same or a higher tax bracket, or because we don't have as many of the deductions. Our kids are now often in school or in college or getting married of their own. Our house is paid off. We don't have any mortgage insurance deductions or anything else that way. So even though we may be making lower income, we don't have as many tax deductions. So we might still be in a relatively high bracket. So you got to be careful of how these distributions are coming out. And do we want to pay tax on the seed or the harvest? That's something I always think is vitally important. And I always ask clients of mine who are contributing to these 401ks or for their kids, does the company they're working for have a Roth 401k option? Now, a lot of accountants hate it when I say this, but I would rather pay tax on that seed now, that payment in, that $5,000 or $10,000 distribution in order to never pay tax on the future or going forward from there. Because here's the thing, guys, folks, we're in a lot of debt in this country. And honestly, it doesn't make a difference, in my opinion, who is in the White House. I think tax rates right now are going to be low. I think they have to be higher in the future just because of some of the entitlements that we have. Not only just the debt, but because of Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. There's so many baby boomers who are going to be going into that area of retirement, and we don't have as many workers to pay for those Social Securities. In fact, right now, it's 3 workers for every 1 person entering in for Social Security or receiving a Social Security benefit. And the number by 2033, I believe it's going to drop down to 2 workers for every 1 person collecting a Social Security benefit.
Wow.
Keep in mind, folks, in 1935, when Social Security was enacted, there was 16 workers for every 1 person collecting. So these are big demographic changes that we've really got to take a look at how our 401ks are being taxed. And so there should be a lot of different questions that you take a look at is, can I do some tax planning with that 401k? And even if I don't have to take it out and I pass away and I still have a big 401k, my kids are going to have to pay that tax. This is called an IRA tax time bomb. So you should take a look at how that's going to affect your type of account. And last and not least, but you should take a look at some of the options you have inside of your 401k. Are there matching contributions from your employer? Do you have the ability to change some of the allocations? Can you go conservative? Can you go more risky? And how often can you do that? I know some 401k plans that they only make you allowed to make a choice once every 2 months. And if you make a choice, you can't go back into the market, or you can't go back into a lower risk account until 60 days pass and before you can make trades again. It's important to understand the options that you have, and that is absolutely something that we take a look at whenever we sit down with every one of our clients or people who have questions about their accounts and 401ks. The things that maybe they didn't know or they didn't know what to ask, we give them a roadmap so that they can see what's really important to them.
Well, folks, I've heard it coined as tax postponed, and I think that, at least to me, made it ring clear that we are not doing without the tax. We are not doing away with the tax. We are only postponing it for later down the road. And that tax liability down the road is going to be important in determining ultimately your success or failure in retirement. Josiah Grauso and the team from ASC Financial Group can help educate you on some of the options and strategies that are available so that you can discuss whether or not they are appropriate for you in your situation to try to minimize, reduce, or eliminate some of that tax liability. And again, if you would like to discuss those strategies and options, pick up the phone, give a call to ASC Financial Group for a retirement built to last. last. 800-939-8633. Again, that's 800-939-8633. Josiah, you spoke of control and options within the 401k. I think that a lot of people get caught up in the news cycle. As I'm thinking here, as we're closing out the year and kind of looking at the year in review, a lot has happened this year, whether it be on the corporate level, on political level, in the sports world, in the weather, geopolitically in North Korea and Iran and China, all these things that have gone on this year. Maybe we focused a lot of our time and attention on those items rather than the things that we do have personal control over, such as how much risk we are taking, how much we are paying in fees, how we are deciding our future tax fate, and the things that we do have the ability to control. Do you find that a lot of people are sort of missing the forest through the trees and focusing on too grand a scale rather than the small things that they do have the ability to control day after day?
Betting dollars to donuts. I mean, a lot of the things that come in that people talk to me about is, here are some huge concerns they have. What happens if one nominee got into the office over the other one? What happens if North Korea does be able to get a nuclear weapon? What happens if Iran, after some of these sanctions, gets a nuclear weapon? What happens? All these different fightings. We've had some bad hurricanes and weather systems in the past, tornadoes. Is global warming getting worse? Are we having all these devastating effects? And does that mean I should pull all my money out? And should I put it into gold? And should I, get a Y2K bunker and, all these canned goods and all these type of things? And honestly, folks, I don't know what the future is going to hold. I don't know if we're going to have another third world war. I don't know if we're going to have a nuclear war. I don't know those type of things. But those are so grandiose. Those are such big, huge issues that I think sometimes we do miss. Well, what are the little things that we can affect? I mean, folks, let's talk about some of these things that have been, just absolutely uncommon. I mean, the Cubs won the World Series. I mean, that was the first time in I don't know, 100 years, 1902 maybe. I don't even remember. But, the Cubs won the World Series. Cleveland, that never wins anything, not only had a team go to the World Series, but the Cavaliers won for the first time a national championship in basketball. And I'll be, kind of give it up to my boy LeBron James. I love this guy. He's awesome. But all I'm saying is look at some of these things that have never happened before, or it's taken a really, really long time for things to happen. And again, it shows you on a grand scale on how these things affect, but we forget the little details. It was only about 8 years ago that we had a devastating financial collapse in this country through 2008. And folks, I'm sorry to say, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when this market's going to correct itself again. The market is cyclical. It's going to have its ups, it's going to have its downs. How well is your plan prepared and insulated against these various different concerns, topics, and issues? And folks, that's why I think it's just even more so paramount. We've mentioned it several different times here on the show, but we give the opportunity with all of our listeners to sit down with us on a one-on-one complimentary financial review and evaluation. We promise you that when you sit down with us, you're going to leave this review with more knowledge and be put in a better situation that that if the market falls, how much could I potentially lose? And so again, I encourage anybody out there, if you've thought about it before, this is towards the end of the year, there's no time, there's no better place than to take control of your assets, take control of your retirement plan. Please pick up the phone, give us a call at 800-939-8633. Folks, I want to thank you very much. This has been a phenomenal year for us. We've seen such great changes, but I want to make sure that I leave this again, and I'll stress it one more time. Only you can take control of your retirement picture.
Thank you, Josiah. Ladies and gentlemen, it is vitally important, not so much to us, but to you, that you do take the steps to better understand and control the potential obstacles, risks, and red flags that could be in your financial future, and take the steps necessary to reduce or eliminate those risks. 800-939-8633 is the number to call. ASC Financial Group for a retirement built to last, and request the complimentary financial review and evaluation. We have seen similar reviews go upwards of $1,000. They are offering it to you at no charge and no obligation. All you need to do is take the initiative today to improve your tomorrow. 800-939-8633 is the number to call. That's 800-939-8633. We'll always appreciate the time that Josiah Grauso spends with us here on the program. We'll look forward to hearing from you soon, folks. We're talking with you again next week on Your Game Plan for Retirement.
The content of this radio show is provided for informational purposes only and is not a solicitation or recommendation of any investment strategy. You are encouraged to seek investment, tax, or legal advice from an independent professional advisor. Any investment and/or investment strategies mentioned involve risk, including the possible loss of principal. Advisory services offered through Brookstone Capital Management, a registered investment advisor.
Ed Slott's Elite IRA Advisor Group is solely an indication that the financial advisor has attended training provided by Ed Slott and Company, passed biannual examinations on material covered at conferences and in webinars, and met other membership requirements, and does not constitute an endorsement of any kind. Ed Slott's Elite IRA Advisor Group members pay a fee for the educational programs that allow them to be included in the Ed Slott's Elite IRA Advisor Group. Membership does not guarantee investment success. Fiduciary duty extends solely to investment advisory advice and does not extend to other activities such as insurance or broker-dealer services. Advisory clients are charged a quarterly fee for assets under management, while insurance products pay a commission, which may result in a conflict of interest regarding compensation.